4-4, third place in the division. Have the 49ers dug themselves a hole too big to climb out of?
Oh man. I don't No. I mean, technically they have not, but when you really look at things, this is what makes this season so interesting is we've seen them do this before, the 3-5, the 2-4. But when you look at the NFC in those years, the back end of the NFC was not very strong at all. I think this is the strongest the NFC's been maybe in the Shanahan era, top to bottom, as far as finding 7 teams that can make it. So the way that I see it is it's a race to 10 wins. If you can get to 10 wins in the NFC, you're basically putting yourself in the playoffs. So let's look at the teams across the NFC and who has a legitimate chance to make it to 10 wins. All right. The Eagles need 4 wins in 9 games to get to 10. The Commanders need 3 wins in 8 games to get to 10. The Vikings need 4 wins in 9 games to get to 10. The Lions need just 3 wins in 9 games. The Packers need 4 and 8. The Falcons need 4 and 8. The Cardinals need 5 and 8. And then it comes down to the 49ers, Rams, Bears. They need 6 wins in 9 games. Looking at the schedule for the San Francisco 49ers to get to 10 wins, they have to go 6-3, playing teams like the Packers on the road, Bills on the road. Bears, I can't take seriously anymore after watching DJ Moore literally walk off the field mid-play. But you've got the Rams, you've got the Cardinals. I mean, it's not going to be easy to get it done. So, no, they haven't dug themselves like an insurmountable hole. But when you really look at this, they're going to have to play perfect football against 3 teams in order to have some tiebreakers. They're going to have to beat the Packers, in my opinion. They're going to have to beat the Rams, and they're going to have to beat the Cardinals. And do I think that they're realistically going to go 3-0 in those games? I don't. And so I think that ultimately they'll fall short of the playoffs because of it. 6 wins in 9 games when you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that have much, much easier paths to get to 10 wins. It's going to make it really hard for the 49ers. So they've got their work cut out for them. They can do it. I just don't think it's likely.
And that's assuming they win on Sunday.
Assuming they win. If they lose on Sunday, it's. I said it's over after the Chiefs game, but when I said it's over, I meant this is not a Super Bowl winning team.
See,
like that was clear to me. If they lose on Sunday, they are for sure not making the playoffs. Like it's a lock.
That's why I go back to like, don't use McCaffrey as a season saver. Like the season kind of is on the line this weekend, and don't just rush him back because losing to the Bucs would be catastrophic. Like, why don't you beat the Bucs without McCaffrey, earn his return, prove that he's not wasting his freaking time by coming back to this team and clearly risking Achilles rupture. I mean, that's not off the table here just because he took a couple of months off. Win the game without him. Prove that you're a worthwhile team. Or risk it. Because you're not just risking this season, you're risking next year too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like that approach. I mean, get him a week of practice, bring him back for Seattle, assuming you win. If you don't win, maybe consider shutting him down. I don't know. There's no way. Even if they lost that game, there's no way they would do that. It's the 49ers. There's no way.
What's wild to me is I saw like a pretty prevalent bye-week take. You know, the Niners beat the Cowboys, and you got 2 weeks to kill, and you're looking for nice things to say. And I saw someone say like, that it's like the season just started. Everything's right in front of the 49ers. It's like they're 0-0. No, they're like the 9th seed in the NFC. They're in 3rd place in the NFC West. To your point, the NFC is so much better this year. The division isn't, but the conference is way better this year, and the Niners aren't as good as they were in the past. It's a tough road ahead of them.
Yeah, it definitely is a tough road. Now, they're definitely not 0-0. That is not the way to look at it at all. That is not. But one thing you can look at is that if they don't make the playoffs, they fully have to take blame. And if they do make the playoffs, now you look at it and you say, okay, well, we had to beat teams like the Packers, the Rams, the Cardinals. another couple games in there against some good teams, you can feel really good about that. Because getting into the playoffs and being hot at the right time, that does play in the NFL. We've seen this where teams do get hot. And the assumption is that's going to be the 49ers. Well, maybe it's not, but if they do get in the playoffs, that means that they are that hot team. They really are. They're rolling at the right time. And anything can happen once you're there. So the schedule is laid out with the teams that need to be there for them to somehow dig themselves out of this. Like if the schedule the second half was a bunch of AFC teams and they had lost to a bunch of NFC teams in the first half and didn't have the opportunity to play teams like the Packers and what have you, then it would be much harder. But they do have those teams on the schedule. So the opportunity is right in front of them to take control of this.
Dave Barkley says, "What up, guys? Why do we chase mediocre guys mostly?" I don't know who you chase in your spare time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Who's we?
Who's we? You're talking about we. I chase top level. Dave Barkley says, "Told you 100K when you got the 30K, G. Nice job." Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you. Dave Barkley says, "Like and subscribe to our guys here chat. Fire Lyle." Who's Lyle? Lyle the Crocodile. Do you remember that book when we were kids?
I do remember Lyle Crocodile.
Dave Barkley says, "What kind of hat is that, G? Looks clean." Blue Rock Springs. It's a public golf course in Vallejo, California, where the players dwell, where the city and the game run parallel. You don't know about that.
Oh, I don't.
You don't know about that. Dave Barkley says, "Is it worth more injury to not make playoffs?" Got to risk it. They got to weigh it.
That's the tough thing is they have to play these guys if they're healthy.
Richard Evangelista says, "CMC conservative and used as a decoy." Come on. Common or Black Thought? Common.
Common.
I'm not big into the Roots. I was when I was a kid, but I find Black Thought kind of boring. Common was cool. Keith Murphy, he actually had a good song that came out this year. Check out a Spotify. Keith Murphy says, "Gibbs more explosive than Saquon." Don't know about that. Gibbs run like a 4.3.
Yeah, listen. I mean, we can parse and split hairs. Maybe Saquon's the more explosive player, but it's not as like a pass catcher, a dynamic pass catcher. Jahmyr Gibbs is right there with anybody. Listen. What Saquon Barkley is a absolute amazing player. What he did this last week, the backwards jump, that was incredible. But Jahmyr Gibbs is up there. If you want to say Saquon's number one, then Jahmyr Gibbs number two. But the point remains, you can use him like they used Jahmyr Gibbs.
Dave Barkley says CMC needs to backflip over a guy to beat Saquon. Kilo T Dub says Kyle just needs to play CMC the way he coaches with 10-point leads. Hopefully he doesn't forget we have Garendo and Mason if CMC exceeds expectations. I think to Kyle's credit, he is keenly aware of all the noise and criticism and second guessing and Monday morning quarterbacking, and he knows he'll get crushed if he overuses Christian McCaffrey. He knows that. So
yeah, if CMC were to tear an Achilles, like let's say CMC tears an Achilles and it's on the heels of 30 carries, yeah, you're gonna get crushed.
Kilo TW says, "Where are we ranking the Niners if they go on a run and win, let's say, the next 4 out of 5?
I guess we'll see how everybody else. Like, did they lose to the Packers during that 4 out of 5 stretch? Who did they lose to? There's a lot that plays into that. I expected before the Dallas game, I said that they're going to win 3 in a row. They're going to beat Dallas. They're going to beat Tampa, who's banged up. And then they're coming off a bye. And then obviously Seattle, they'll beat Seattle. But that doesn't, even then, you can get excited over that. But to me, that was just 3 games that you should have won.
Shady Luke, resident Eagles fan, says Fangio was talking about the development of Navarro Bowman in the Eagles presser. If you don't remember, when Harbaugh took over the team in 2011, Bowman was in his second season. He didn't play much as a rookie. He sat behind Takeo Spikes. One of the first thing that Harbaugh and Fangio did was get rid of Takeo Spikes and start Bowman. And it seemed like a risky move at the time because no one knew who Bowman was. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's an all-pro. Good move.
Well, I wonder what the context was. I wonder if it was it in reference Shady Luke to N'Kobe Dean and his development? I'm curious.
Yeah, I'd like to know.